Our next speaker, unfortunately, as everyone who was here a couple days ago knows, we got hit by a snow-a-cane, for lack of a better term. Unfortunately, Winona LaDuke couldn't make it because her flights got canceled, delayed, and snowed in so many times that she just couldn't make it here to be here physically with us tonight. But thanks to the miracle of technology, we have her on Skype, and so with no further ado, a screen.
It's really, really funny.
There we go. Great.
Anin, that's how we say hello in our language here. Anin Nindoy Maganaduk. Hello, my relatives. All of you, I really wish I could be there. It's really difficult travel, and so I come like this to you, but I'll come see you in person with a little less snow, okay? All right. I don't know if there's hesitation in the pause there, but I just want to say I'm visiting with you from our territory here, Anishinaabeg King. I live in northern Minnesota, Anishinaabe territory, and very pleased to be with you. I just wanted to encourage you in what you're doing. And I'm just gonna share a little video with you about us, what we're doing. It's about 7 minutes, and then I'm gonna talk for about 15 minutes. And I just want to show you what we're doing on our front lines here, because you're also on the front lines up here. I just heard that beautiful young woman speak. I know you have my younger sister, Crystal Lehman, with you. A lot of really beautiful and awesome people. And you all, so important that you have the courage to stand up. You have the courage to be the people that you are, because we're the people that have this opportunity. It's a spiritual opportunity to do the right thing, to stop them from cutting off the top of a mountain or contaminating our water or combusting the planet to oblivion. We have the chance to do this great thing for our Mother Earth, and it is our time. It is really our time. So I'm going to just share with you a little video on our stuff so you see what we do, and then I'm going to just talk a little more, okay? Be rich.
Beauty in the breath of horses. Fall mornings. Along the proposed route of a new oil pipeline which would cross our reservation. It was the third of a series of rides on pipelines. We're not protesters, we're protectors. That's who we are. And this we call the Triple Crown of pipeline rides. Those rides took us on the Alberta Clipper proposed expansion route to the proposed Keystone XL route in the Dakotas, where riders from the White Earth Reservation joined with the Lakota to ride between Montbly and Dakini on the Cheyenne River Reservation. So it was that 15 riders braved some harrowing terrain, a land littered with 100,000 dead cattle from a freak September blizzard, and rode the proposed Keystone route. And then we came home to our own reservation, where a new pipeline is proposed to cut near our largest wild rice lake. That pipeline will carry fracked oil from the Dakotas. Much of this comes from the homelands of the Arikara, Mandan, and Hidatsa people, also known as the Fort Berthold Reservation, which is under assault by oil companies, and where water and people are challenged not only by a pipeline, but also by a proposed refinery. The other two pipelines carry tar sands oil from the far north in the Athabasca River, a place that is beautiful and a place that deserves to live and not become a national sacrifice area. Athabasca River region is a pristine ecosystem That is, until the oil companies come that way. Thus far, 3% of that oil, considered because of its extraction method to be the dirtiest oil in the world, has been ripped from the ground. The boreal forests are being turned into sand dunes. Alberta has become the third largest oil-producing state, aka nation, in the world. That oil is being extracted without infrastructure to move it. Hence the push for a pipeline. Any pipeline. What's at stake is a lot of water and a lot of risk. In Minnesota, it's wild rice, water, and oil. The Enbridge pipeline is proposing to both expand present Alberta Clipper, doubling its capacity, and making it the largest tar sands pipeline in the United States. In the Dakotas, it is a land without a single pipeline across it and one large aquifer, the Oglala. The Enbridge company also wants to construct a 610-mile pipeline from near Tioga, North Dakota, to Superior, Wisconsin. That would carry fracked oil. This is also the same oil as the 800,000 gallons which devastated a Tioga farm in North Dakota early in October. Farmer Stephen Jensen walked into his field and could smell the oil. It had seeped for so long that 800,000 gallons devastated his field. That pipeline was 6 inches. The proposed sand pipeline is 30. Enbridge's pipelines are largely monitored by the company. Those go through indigenous territories, which are healthy lands, lands that our ancestors wish to protect. We intend to do the same. The single largest pipeline oil spill in U.S. history was the Kalamazoo spill. The fact is that greed makes people act poorly. Rather than investing into efficiency, infrastructure, and renewable or safe energy, the push is to extract as quickly as possible, by any means necessary, and to move that oil by any means necessary. Right now, most of the oil moving in this country from the Bakken fields moves on railway. That's up to about 380,000 rail cars projected to move this year. This past summer, 4 square blocks of the town of Lac Mégantic, Quebec, blew up as the train's braking systems failed. That train was carrying Bakken oil. Over 40 people were, quote, vaporized in an explosion which baffled Canadian authorities. They had never seen anything like it. That oil, combined with whatever chemicals are in it, is the stuff they want to put into the sand pipeline. The fact is that all of these expansions are predicated not on need, but on greed. We think that need is subjective. In Enbridge's application to the Minnesota Public Utilities Commission, access to a, quote, stable supply of oil was the primary measure of need. It turns out that the world's largest oil reserves are in the Western Hemisphere, in Venezuela, followed by Saudi Arabia, and then the Alberta tar sands. Venezuela is a country that has demanded a fair price for oil and used that oil to develop its infrastructure. Instead of paying a fair price for oil, however, oil interests are far more interested in securing oil from places that do not wish to give up their oil. Instructed to do by our ancestors, and that is our covenant with our ancestors and our Mother Earth. That is also our covenant with the generations yet to come. This is not just a Native issue, an Indigenous issue. It affects us all. Whether you have feet, wings, fins, or roots, we are all in this together. No corporation has the right to this land, water, and our future. This is Winona LaDuke for Honor the Earth.
Am I back?
You're back. Okay.
Okay, thanks you guys. Did you see my video? Our video about our community then? Cool. So we'll keep it right on YouTube. But you know, that's what we did in the fall. And you know, you're all facing the same things out there as we're facing. We're facing the same stuff. This is what I think. I've been at this. I'm old enough to be most of your mother. You know, I raised 6 kids. I can't be all your mom too. But you know, after all these years, what I notice is this: is we entered this era of really extreme. And when you're an addict, like a society like Canada or the United States, the thing is about being an addict is that you do a lot of bad shit and hang out with dealers. And that's pretty much the politics of these two countries. These countries are entirely full of the single most inefficient energy systems in the world, highly consumptive. Turns out Canada, I don't know how you could consume more than an American, but Canadians can. I suppose because it's darn colder, right? So we're dealing with a very predator economy. That is the reality. And the predator is running out of things to feed its addiction. So we're down to scraping the bottom. And what we have left is very, very precious to all of us. It's our water. That's what we got. And we have our land, you know, and we know that this is their shot at what we have. So when you are in an extreme era, you do things like propose copper mines for, you know, northern Minnesota or, you know, the Ring of Fire, where only 1% of the ore, of what you get is ore. You got 1 million tons of copper coming out up here in a proposal, and you get a ton of ore. That's scraping the bottom. And that copper mine, all that stuff's supposed to go to China. It's not even going anywhere here. There's more copper in landfills in the United States than there are in these copper mine proposals. Same thing with taconite. And the same thing is with energy. Extreme extraction is when you blow off the top of 500 mountaintops in Appalachia in order to sell that coal to China. Extreme extraction is drilling 20,000 feet under the ocean for some oil you think you might get. And all of us know that what's down there in the deep should stay in the deep. Leave that place alone. Extreme extraction is fracking the hell out of your ecosystems across this country, across North America, and extreme extraction is the tar sands. When you're an addict and you get to the bottom, you do that. All of that stuff is evil, and all of that stuff is really, 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 really expensive. So my counsel to all of you is to do what I've done most of my life. You know, you have to be very sophisticated in your battles. This is a sophisticated time, and it calls for us to be people who have agency, people who are versatile in our strategies. There is no one thing to say what we must do. It is, you know, I've done everything you all have done. Everything from running to office to getting myself arrested. You know, we do all of those things. But in the meantime, you know, the facets of that involve changing the consciousness in Canada. Changing the consciousness from people who feel that they will be victims. A lot of people feel like it's just going to happen. We have to show them that you can resist and make a difference. And that resistance is our only way. We have to show people that there is something better than drinking the Kool-Aid that the Irving Empire wants to have us all drink. The Kool-Aid that TransCanada and Syncrude and the Harper government have. We need to show that that Kool-Aid will do the same thing as the people of Jonestown found. It will kill you. That is what that Kool-Aid will do. And so we need to dissuade people from that. The way you do that is you show them. You know, you keep up in a diligence of the efforts. You keep up, you know, I write endless articles for every right-wing, whatever, I write for everybody. You keep informing people, you encourage people. That pipeline struggle that we are in here, I spent 3 months trying to get non-native people, very conservative people, concerned about the pipelines. get them to understand what is going on, and get them to understand and give themselves permission to oppose these companies. I go to these hearings now with those pipeline companies, I don't even have to say a thing. Those non-Indian farmers, those non-native cottage owners are so angry and fighting these corporations. In Canada, people ask too much permission. Non-native people ask too much permission. People are way too polite. And so I'm saying that it's been a handy thing for a while, but it is not the time to ask for permission. It is not the time, as you know, to assume that whether it is Irving Oil or Syncrude or Harper or any of those guys has any good ideas, because they have none. In our teachings as Anishinaabe people, they talk about two paths. One path, they said, that we came to this time called the time of the seventh fire. I think a lot of you know this story. That it said in the time of the seventh fire that our people have a choice between two paths, two mikana. One path, they said, is well-worn but scorched. The other path, they say, is not well-worn and it is green. And it is our choice upon which path to embark. That's what they say. We know what the scorched path looks like. That's what the Athabascan River Basin is beginning to look like. We do not want that in Mi'kmaq territory. We do not want that in any of our territories. We understand what the scorched path looks like. The other path is not well worn and it is green. And it is our choice upon which path to embark. There is no absence of knowledge on how to go on the green path. There is a lack of political will. There is people who have come to believe that they cannot do anything, that they cannot make a difference. So part of our strategy, we fight these guys full on. You fight these guys full on. But do the right thing also. The right thing also is show what is the pono or the righteous path. Show that path so people will see that it is possible to do something different other than what they suggest. And challenge them. And challenge them. So in our area here, you saw our videos on the pipelines. We are fighting 3 pipelines in my territory. The Alberta Clipper is already in. 440,000 barrels per day of tar sands oil. They want to increase it to 800,000 barrels per day. Line 3 is already in, but it is old. They try to replace it and up that to 800,000 barrels per day. And then they propose this new one called the Sandpiper. 375,000 barrels per day they want to cross our territory. We fight all of those pipelines because right now Minnesota is the single largest highway for Canadian tar sands oil. We fight that with all our people up here in the courts, in the administrative hearing process, in changing consciousness, and we will see what else. But we are fighting them. And I say that because you all know the same thing I do. The evil that exists in northern Alberta, north of Crystal's territory, that evil has no way out. And so they do everything to get it out, including this new Energy East pipeline proposal. So it is not, you are all sophisticated or you would not be here. This is, in each place, we mount the same struggle to make it more and more and more difficult for them. The longer you prolong their project, the longer you fight their project, the more expensive their project gets. The longer you fight them, the more expensive their project gets. And it is not, I have seen companies quit. I have seen them quit many times. They never say you're right. They never say we're sorry. They say things like, we have deemed it to be economically not viable. say. But my point in this is that you can do that. And I've done that and seen that communities do that many, many, many times. But like that woman who spoke before, you have to be grounded. Don't be transient, be grounded. Don't let them take any territory and fight them spiritually and from a good place. Because we have that on our side. We have spirit. They have no spirit. They have no spirit. Ha'ole, no breath, no spirit. They have nothing. So keep that in mind. Fight them with their numbers. I'm talking to you, I'm an economist. That crazy thing, I'm an economist, right? But you know what? It's like they are high. You don't have a pipeline that costs you $10 billion and get 120 jobs out of it and say that that is a benefit to the people of New Brunswick. That's crazy. That's a crazy idea. It's like, in Hawaii, they want to put up a telescope project, $2.5 billion telescope project. 40 people are going to work there, and they call it an economic stimulant. That's crazy. The fact is that mega projects do not solve your problems. Mega projects give you mega projects, and then you have the problem of the mega project. That's how that works. So you need to challenge their math, because their math is bad. They should go to do some better math on this. I just look at this. Here, the Energy East project, they got a terminal they want to put in there. They want to give them all these special deals. In the meantime, you got this Moncton, New Brunswick hospital that pays 5 times more taxes and employs 2,899 people. That's what you need, is you need something that is for the community. All pipelines do is the profits are at the beginning and the profits are at the end. All the risk is in the middle, right? Does not improve your property value, having pipelines. That's what we are explaining, to property owners up here. So what I'm saying is be sophisticated in your challenge too. Challenge their math. Their math is bad. Explain what, the economics is, and let us go for where the right place is. You must be, a lot of you are highly educated. Be smart in your strategy. Be smart and multifaceted in your strategy. And keep up your courage, because we are smarter than they are. They are just greedy. We are not greedy. We are doing this for the right thing. As I close my remarks here, there's a couple other things I want to say. What I want to say is that the answers are simple. You guys, I've lived my whole life in the fossil fuel era. Honestly, I've known it, I'm a beneficiary of it. So are all of you. I have a huge carbon footprint. I hate it, I'd rather ride my horse and canoe than go everywhere like that. But I had a talk with my friend Vandana Shiva and a talk with my friend Bill McKibben. And we all said the same thing, sometimes you gotta do these things. But the point is that what we want is a graceful departure from the fossil fuel era. That's what I want. I'm in it. I got that I'm in this era. I'm not going to pretend that I'm not in a fossil fuel era, but what I want is a graceful departure, not a crash out of the fossil fuel era. They are setting us up for this crazy crash out of the fossil fuel era, right? So a transition looks like this. And this is the other thing, is don't let them say you're going to freeze in the dark. You want us to go backwards. One of my friends says, when they say, you want us to go backwards, you want us to go back to the Stone Age, point out that Enbridge, TransCanada, and Suncrude are going to put us worse than the Stone Age. By the time they are done, we will not even have our water. In the Stone Age, we had water. Right? That's the reality. What they are doing will make our situation far worse and will be very difficult to recover from. So what I'm saying is that the transition looks like this. First of all, you're going to use some fossil fuels, okay? We're going to have to slide out of this. Our proposal at Honor the Earth is not perfect. Our proposal is go back to Venezuela. After all, largest oil reserves in the world. It's conventional oil. It's not crazy tar sands oil fracked out of your aquifer oil. It's conventional oil from a country that makes its economy based on that and has a just economy. Turns out that the infrastructure in North America is based on importing out of the Gulf. That is where the Venezuelan oil came through until they started cutting it off this year. Last 2 years, they cut it off, decline, and replace it with Canadian tar sands oil. Our position is make friends again with Venezuela, go back and get oil from them, and use that as transition while we go to what we need. The solution you all know. There's this is not like some, climate change fairy is going to fix us. The climate change fairy or lives with the nuclear waste fairy. There's nobody there, right? They don't exist. What you got to do is do the right thing. So the right thing is you relocalize your food economy, relocalize your energy economy. In my reservation, we did a study. We found out that half our economy is wasted. Between food and energy, it is shipped out and brought back in. That's a dumb thing to do. What you want to do is have local food. 25% of your energy, of your economy is then not wasted, and besides that, 25% of the world's CO2 is not created by traveling around with fossil fuels and slathering petroleum on fossil fuels, on your food. You know what I'm saying? So relocalize your food economy, which we all believe in anyway. And then relocalize your energy economy. The two of those will diminish significantly the inefficiencies of the Canadian economy. And we will be able to have a lot better shot at doing things. Now the reality is that, for instance, a country like Germany has almost a third of its energy from renewables. A third of its energy is from renewables. And Germany is not like, some Pacific island. Germany is dark and foggy. And a lot of their energy comes from solar. Canada could be like Germany. It's not like asking in Canada to be like one crazy country someplace else, like, Cuba. It's saying, grow up and be like Germany. You'll be okay. You guys are smart. Have the vision and promote the vision of where we're going. And do it yourself. I grow corn. That's what I do. I grow food because I like to eat it. I like to know where it came from. I grow stuff that's thousands of years old, that grows in my economy, it grows in my ecosystem. That's the way to do it. So be those people. You're very smart, and I want to just encourage you in what you do, but take care of yourselves. Pace yourselves. When I was your age, I didn't think I'd live to be this old. I thought that those corporations would knock me off then. Look, here I am. I'm a grandma. My mother kicks my ass at yoga, and she's 81. Okay? So take care of yourselves. Don't let them stress you out. Be spiritually sound. Be smart. Your Mother Earth is counting on you, okay? We're all counting on you, and I know you all have the power to help us change all this. I want to thank you for your time and wish you the best. I'll come see you when there's less snow, okay?